I've got a Porsche 911 Targa 4 GTS, and in this video I've taken it from London to Switzerland. The journey took us from home to the Eurotunnel, then our first stop 561 miles away in Colmar, France for a quick night stopover, then a further 220 mile trip before reaching our destination, which was the Interlaken region of Switzerland.
Well, how's that for a review? Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome to Stef ABtv. Welcome to Switzerland and welcome to the Porsche Targa 911 GTS. Now let's start with the fancy stuff, because the Targa is a car known for its magical dance. As you can see here, the kind of transformer-like roof, which provides you almost a bit of both, with half convertible, half sunroof. It's really like a pretty fancy sunroof, to be fair. But as you can see here, this thing looks incredible. Now, in this video, I'm going to take you guys around parts of Switzerland. I'm going to take you to the top of Europe. We're going to do some exploring with the Targa GTS. And well, if I'm honest with you, I can't actually wait. Now, don't be mistaken, the Targa GTS is much more than just a car that can transform its roof into an elegant sunroof. No, this specific car is an absolute beast. But this thing here comes with a 3-litre turbocharged engine. It produces 480 brake horsepower. It will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in about 3.5 seconds, so it's definitely no slouch. Don't let the fact that this is a Targa kind of deter you from the fact that this is a true GTS. It is 4-wheel drive, it has 570 Newton meters of torque, and it will do 191 miles per hour. Now the GTS comes with a few extra goodies, one of them being this front here. The GTS accents come with some black parts at the front of the bumper compared to normal Carrera form. You can also see here we've got the very, very nice Turbo S wheels. Now the fronts are 20-inch wheels and they're 8.5J, and the rears are 11.5J wheels and they're 21s. Now I've specifically asked for this to come with Michelin winter tyres, because we are in Switzerland, it is cold, and I wanted a bit of grip just in case when we go up towards the mountains it gets a bit snowy. We also get 6-pot calipers with 405, I believe, mil discs. They are massive and they do a phenomenal job at stopping me as well. So in terms of how it looks, I think it looks incredible in GT silver. And well, let's go for a quick drive. And also I'm going to take you to the top of the Jungfrau, which is the highest point in Europe. So plenty of content still to come in this video. We're currently in Lauterbrunnen, which is a very nice region just outside of Interlaken, which is where we're staying. Now, Lauterbrunnen is extremely expensive, but it is also extremely beautiful, as you can see from the surrounding views. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but just there on the left-hand side, you can see one of many waterfalls which just kind of fall into this valley. It is genuinely one of the most stunning places I've ever been to. But we're en route there now, and it gives me a bit of a chance, whilst I've slowed down a little bit, to talk to you a little bit about the 911 Targa GTS and what it's been like to drive effectively from London over here to Switzerland, because it's actually surprised me in many ways, in more ways than one in actual fact. The first one I'm going to say, and obviously it's not something you really associate with a 911 or a Targa, and that is actually the amount of MPG we've managed to get out of this car. Now bear in mind that on the French motorways you're doing about 80 miles per hour, but the beauty with this thing, because it is obviously 8-speed, so we've got an 8-speed PDK gearbox, actually we're doing 80 miles per hour at around about 1700 RPM, or just under 2000 RPM, which means that you do end up with pretty decent MPG. Now the GTS has got the kind of 10mm lower helper springs which you get on these models. It's 10mm lower than the 911 Carrera 4S, and you'd think that actually it'd be a lot stiffer, but it's not. We've got the PASM suspension, which has 2 modes, normal mode and sport mode. When you put it in sport mode, you can absolutely feel, you know, the springs harden up, but in normal mode, as we are now, it's pretty docile and you can use it for pretty much everything. You can see the skiers heading up towards the snow. So comfort factor is spot on, it's bang on in fact. And of course, we've got the kind of sport comfort seats as well. The GTS doesn't come with those crazy bucket seats that you'd find in the GT3. And actually that makes a big difference when you're using this car. One, for daily use, but two, also for kind of long distances. Because actually what it does, it provides a very comfortable ride. And both me and my wife have thoroughly enjoyed the drive down here. It's just been pretty phenomenal if you ask me. Right, enough talk about the comfort of the GTS, enough talk about the scenery here in Lauterbrunnen. Let's make our way to Grindelwald. Oh, this thing here sounds tremendous. And you can hear as you get towards that high end of the RPM, you almost get a quarter of that 911 GT3. I'm going to say it, orgasm per se. The 911 GT3 hits 9,000 RPM. The GTS, however, hits 7,500. And it does provide phenomenal sound, especially for a 2022 car. Don't forget, these cars are OPF cars. And many of us always say, oh, the sound has been killed off in these cars. But I'm genuinely impressed at just how good this thing sounds. It really is. That's another surprise. I mean, look, if I just give you one quick acceleration as well. Just listen. You can just hear it singing towards that high end of the RPM. And of course, we get the 3-litre turbocharged engine with the horizontal 6-cylinder layout, and it does make a difference to its sound. Look, listen. What a noise. Honestly, what a noise. And it's just such a pleasure to drive around here. You can see we've got the train tracks on the right. We can see we've got the Alps in front of us. We're in a valley now. It's just absolute dream. Right, let's head to Grindelwald. Let's park up and let's head to the top of Europe because, well, I've never been and it's going to be awesome.
En route to the Jungfrau, I couldn't help but stop to absorb so much of the beautiful scenery and spend time reflecting on just how good the Porsche 911 GTS has been as a road trip car. After contemplating life, we made it to Grindelwald, where unfortunately the car couldn't go much further. Instead, we swapped the 911 for a cable car filled with people who were much more appropriately dressed for the weather we're about to experience. We then jumped onto a train to get us to the last part of the mountain before reaching the top of Europe. The Jungfrau is a maze of passageways drilled into the mountain rock, but also has its own ice palace, which was extremely cool to experience. It wouldn't be Switzerland without a quick pit stop in Europe's highest chocolate shop, but once we reluctantly forked out £50 on 2 boxes of chocolate, we finally made our way to the absolute top, and my word, was it worth the journey.
So, welcome to the top of Europe. This is the Sphinx area of the Jungfrau. I reckon we're around about 3,300 meters above sea level. I can tell you it has got substantially colder than when we were down in Grindelwald and ultimately down in Interlaken, and that's just a normal thing when you kind of when you go higher up above into the clouds. Now, the reason that this costs 400 Swiss francs for 2 people is not just a train journey. You're paying ultimately for the maintenance and upkeep of everything here within the Jungfrau. So you've got the station, you've got the routes outside, you've got the Sphinx. And do you know what? One of the things I'm so grateful for is the weather, because look at that. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely stunning. It's absolutely freezing, but yeah, honestly, I would do this all over again. So we've just come out of there. You can see the Jungfrau logo itself. So we've just done the Ice Palace, which is absolutely tremendous. Definitely recommend the tour here. You can see at the very top there, we've got the Sphinx, which is the Jungfrau. It's the telescope part where they can do the astronomy. Is it astronomy? Astrology? Look at the stars, basically. We were just up there earlier on in the video, and that is the highest point of Europe. It is absolutely incredible. And then just behind me, you can see the Glacier Valley, which is just absolutely stunning. I'll get out of the way for you to be able to have a look, but just take a look at that. The views are absolutely breathtaking, absolutely stunning, and it's just on another level, really. And yeah, it's the first time that me and my wife have actually been here, and I can tell you one thing, it definitely won't be the last. Right, I need a coffee, let's go. It's just also quick, absolutely incredibly quick. That four-wheel drive system does an incredible job at just putting all of that power down. It's got so much grunt, 570 Newton meters of torque, 3.5 seconds to 62. That mid-range torque is absolutely relentless. And actually, interestingly, for a 3-litre twin-turbo flat six, it doesn't feel very laggy at all. The turbos do a massive job at providing that, you know, that power hike to the best part of 480 brake horsepower. But it delivers it in such a linear way that actually it makes you feel like you're driving a naturally aspirated car. When you jump into something like the turbo, on the other hand, you can feel a little bit more lag. You can feel that power curve be slightly more aggressive in the terms of how the turbos spool up. But in this, Porsche have done an absolutely cracking job in just getting it right. How about kind of comfort, seating and all that jazz? Because we've been in here a long time. I touched earlier on, it was extremely comfortable, but these seats, very, very nice. They are heated, of course. You do have 18 points, which you can adjust them to your liking. We also get different memory settings, which is just useful. I mean, my wife and I were sharing the driving, so she set hers to 1 and I set mine to 2. And it's just a really, really nice, comfortable place to be. Now, the handling, this is where it gets really interesting for me, because the handling itself on this car, for such a large platform in what 992 is, it delivers you so much grip. And you'd think to yourself, well, surely with such a wide body, you know, you'd struggle. But this is why, because you've got such large wheels on this car, you put so much of the power down. We've got, as I said at the start of the video, we've got 20-inch wheels on the front, which are 8J wide, and we have 11.5J 21-inch wheels at the back. So when you're thinking about the amount of power that we've got in this car, this absolutely gets all of that power down. And of course, with the four-wheel drive system, well, you're absolutely winning. You can really, really power out of corners, and you know that you're going to be in a good place. What a thing. What a thing. In terms of the interior, look, we get what we're used to in the 992. We get that familiar large 10.25 screen, which has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and all those other goodies as well. The Porsche sat-nav is pretty good, it's pretty intuitive, but let's be honest, all of us always end up using Apple CarPlay, and it is wireless as well, which is, well, it's a bonus. Woo! Brakes are very good, as you can see here. We have 6-pot brakes, 405mm discs. They do a phenomenal job at stopping you. You have to really push hard on the brake to get much, well, to get the anchors down really. They're not extremely light, they're quite firm, which is a good thing in a GTS product as well. I do like that. The exhaust as well, I touched on it earlier on, it just has such a nice tone to it. In Sport Plus and in Sport, you get some nice crackles out the back of the car. It just works, it really, really does work. Foot to floor, Sport Plus, in we go. And there it is, 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how is that for a view from the balcony of our room? Honestly, absolutely incredible. You can see the sun is just creeping up, hitting the top of the mountains there. And if I'm honest with you, this is the first time that we've actually really been able to see how beautiful the view from the balcony is.
well, it wouldn't be a road trip without stopping here in Rheims first. And one of the things that I will touch on in a moment is this Targa roof, and actually should you bother spending £138,000, because that's how much this specific car costs. They come in base at 126, this one 138,000. Or should you just go for the normal hardtop Carrera 911 GTS? You can hear we're in Rheims because everyone's hooning it up and down the straight. Now, interesting point to note. Things such as the metallic silver paint or the GT silver paint is an optional extra. The LED headlights, an optional extra, 1,300 quid. So that's where the price starts to hike up again. But the interesting thing that I want to talk to you about is, do I actually like this Targa roof? Because have you ever driven down the motorway where, you know, you lower your front window down and you get that horrible vortex kind of like noise? It's kind of like a woo, 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 woo noise. Interestingly, the Targa does that if you don't have this part up. So this actually should come up, and it will do when I actually start moving. But what that then does, it allows for the air to flow above. It hits this and goes over the Targa roof. So that eliminates the bulk of that noise. If this is broken or it doesn't come up, then you're going to get the air come along here, straight into here, and it creates that kind of wind vortex, which doesn't sound very, very good. However, with the experience that I've had with the Targa, I have driven it with the roof down. It is pretty pleasant. It is ultimately like having quite a large sunroof, and I do like it. But personal preference, I would opt for a 911 Carrera 4 or a 911 GTS with the hardtop. So we're just coming up to our hotel. Doesn't look like the weather's on our side now. I think it's about to start tipping it down with the rain. But one thing I haven't shown you really is from the cabin first point of view is the launch. So I'll do a quick one now so you can see it. 0 to 100 kilometers. And there it is. Wow. Wow, that is quick. Oh my word, that is extremely quick. Wow. That is a launch. It really does hook up. It's just so good. And just like that, we are back here in the UK at Porsche GB. Oh, we've got some good miles on this thing. We stretched the legs on it for sure. And I have to say, in terms of an overall road trip car, the 911 Targa 4 GTS has been absolutely incredible. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash the like button. Comments are always welcome, and I'll see you all very soon on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.